Welcome to The Author's Journey with #1 international best-selling author and in-demand publisher, Rebecca Hall Greider. Today, we'll showcase the works of an amazing best-selling author, find out the story behind their book, and explore ways to bring your message powerfully forward. Now, here's your host, Rebecca Hall Greider.
Welcome, everyone. I'm honored to connect in with you today as we are talking with amazing, transformational, best-selling authors, and they are coming to us, taking time out of their busy schedule as they are so on mission with what they are bringing forward to pull back the curtains and have a candid conversation with us. So it's just an honor and a privilege to be able to spend this time with all of you, our amazing listeners, and our amazing transformational authors, and they are opening up their heart, their journey with us to support us on ours. So I hope that you feel that, everyone connecting in with us today. And I want to encourage you to use this time together to fully connect in, to really be present, to receive everything that is here for you today, because it's not an accident that you are tuning in. I know that there's something here for you by the very nature that you're tuning in. And so I want you to really take a moment, breathe in through the nose, out through the mouth, kind of like you're breathing out through a straw. And this gives you an opportunity to slow down a little bit and catch up with yourself. We move so fast in life. We sometimes don't even know how we're feeling or thinking because we're in do, and then this next thing and the next transition and this next thing needs our attention. And so this is your time. I want to encourage you, remind you to be open, willing to receive. Take those beautiful breaths to be poured into. And as we talk with our amazing author, amazing best-selling author, I want to encourage you to be present, to picture yourself having a conversation with them. As I introduce them, here's an opportunity for you to connect with them. Here's an opportunity for you to start to make a list of, if you had an opportunity to talk to them, to go deeper, what would you want to know? And we will do our best to tap into that energy and answer and ask and have her answer, say it that way, some of those burning questions, things that you want to know. And if by chance we don't hit all the areas you were curious about, you wanted to know, you wanted to go deeper in, we'll give you a way that you can connect with our amazing expert later on so that you can get all of those questions answered. So I encourage you, really be present. Use this time to feel in, to connect, and really embrace the opportunity to have a candid conversation with an amazing leader, a transformational best-selling author who is excited to connect and pour into you. Oh, welcome. Let's take one more breath together. And I'm going to invite you to actually close your eyes. You're absolutely safe. And put one hand on your heart. Actually, let's put both hands on our heart today. Really feeling into that heart space. And I want you to feel into what's your feeling, what you're thinking, what message is your heart, your spirit wanting to share with you today. Just feel in. Sometimes it's an image, a memory, a scent. You can use all of your senses as you're feeling in. A word. What is the message for you today? And then with that, what is it that you need? What is it that will encourage you, support you, empower you on your journey? What do you need today? And are willing to receive? Because we have a choice. So what is it that you need and are willing to receive? Beautiful. So receive that information. Let's take another breath. We'll come back into the room. Eyes open, fully present. Beautiful. Take a moment and write down the message your heart and spirit had for you today. Let's make sure we capture that message. And what is it that you need and are willing to receive? Unattached to how, we're not talking about how, we're just identifying what it is that you need. So take a moment, write that down. Let's start to bring it into reality, into present time. And then that's something you can glance at throughout our time together today, as well as you go forward out into the world, keeping that top of mind so that you're open and you're actively on the lookout to have that need met in an unexpected and wonderful way that you never imagined that need that you have gets wonderfully met. But we want to be on the lookout. We want to be open to receive. Beautiful. Well, I'm really excited to introduce our amazing author, and I wanted to start by having her share what was on her heart when she took a moment to stop, pause, and listen. And then I will do a beautiful formal introduction so you know a little bit more of her background. But I always like to start in that heart space. So Lois, I would love for you to share what was laid on your heart when we took a moment, either that message that was given to you or that need. What's on your heart to share? I'd love for us to hear.
Thank you so much, and thank you for that wonderful centering exercise that allowed me to be a little bit more calm and focused. And what is on my heart to share, what I did in that process, was I asked my guides of the collective to please speak through me so that the words that I say may touch those who need to hear. I asked them to be an instrument, to allow me to be an instrument of peace, hope, and love, and to let them give me the words to say.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing. I appreciate that intention and that openness to serve and the trust that the right words will come and that you will share them coming from that place to serve so beautifully. Thank you for sharing.
You're welcome. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely, absolutely. So listeners, I want you to hear, so I love that you get to hear where she's coming from and how she's wanting to serve and bring peace and hope and love, which is something so many of us with what we're facing today are hungry for. So I'm excited and honored to hear all that is laid on Lois's heart for our conversation today. But I want you to know a little bit about her. So Lois Hermann is a catalyst for positive change. She is a seasoned spiritual and metaphysical teacher, a success coach, and a board-certified clinic hypnotist. She is a master in energy clearing and alignment. She has a 40-plus year background in the medical industry. And today, she is a talk radio show host, a #1 international best-selling author, and a community leader who is passionate about helping you to make the world a better place. Will you please lean in and warmly welcome the powerful, heart-centered Lois Hermann to the show. Welcome.
Oh, thank you, thank you, thank you. You are such an inspiration to me, Rebecca. I am delighted to be here, and I am honored to be sharing the words that have come to me and to just help to inspire those that are struggling and those that are already well on their path, that just need to feel surrounded and supported and embraced by hope and joy and love.
Thank you. And we are thrilled to have you join us. So it works out beautifully. Honored to have you here. And I wanted to start our conversation with some of your journey. I'd love for you to share, because I know there has been a journey in that transformation from the medical industry and the role that you had there to becoming a #1 best-selling author, becoming a community leader, becoming a person that is called to bring forward this powerful series of books that you've been given. And I'd love for you to take a little bit of time and share some of your journey with our listeners.
Oh, thank you, Rebecca. I never expected this to happen. It's been a journey of just saying yes, as you and I have discussed in the past. I had a fabulous career as a medical professional. I retired about 8 years ago as Director of Clinical Services for a diagnostic imaging company. So I'm a pioneer in the field of diagnostic ultrasound. Started back in the 70s, actually. So I have seen that industry grow. I was part of the training, the learning. I worked on design teams, developing products. I have patents in my name. So I'm a very analytical person, and I'm very, very didactic-based medical person. And I went through some extreme trauma in my life, in my personal life, with a very disturbed relationship. Ended up escaping from that relationship and moving into a house with a ghost. And that transformed my life because I was trained on how to communicate with spirits. I didn't know anything about this, but I had a priest and a spiritual hypnotist come to bless my house, and they informed me that you need to learn how to do this. And I'm thinking, what? I'm a medical professional. What do I know about ghosts? So I had an imaginary conversation with Judy, who was the ghost who was visiting my daughter at night, and she had shot herself in the head in my basement as a result of extreme domestic abuse. And she was a brilliant mathematician, and her daughter was my daughter's age when she took her life. And so I had this conversation with Judy and invited her to go into the light, and I just didn't even know what I was doing. A few days later, I asked my daughter if the lady still comes to sing to her at night, and she says, no, but there's a little boy. So I ended up communicating with these different spirits, and over time, I went on to learn to be a hypnotist because I found that hypnosis helped to heal my trauma, my wounds, and in the process, I was also finding out more about how to communicate with the power of the mind, body, spirit with the unseen world. So that's my normal. I help people. If you have a passed over loved one and you would like to communicate with them, you can do that. I'm the facilitator on your journey. I often say that spirits it's like they've just moved, like your loved one has moved to Alaska. You just can't see them. They're in a different state or a different state of being. So you have the ability to communicate with, and if they're in a good place, they send you love and they bring you joy. And if they're still troubled, then you have the opportunity to help them into what I call the light. Many would call it heaven. So that's something that I do all the time. It sounds weird to many people, but that is my normal. So I left my corporate career about 8 years ago to establish my private practice doing just that, helping people to transform their world with the power of their mind using hypnosis and other advanced techniques to help them to embrace positive change. So Beautiful. That's the story up to recent times.
Yes, and then that's a cliffhanger. So ... with that.
Exactly.
Yeah, perfect. So thank you for sharing. I just think it's so helpful for people to have a little bit of an understanding of the background and what some of that journey has been. And I love, you never saw this one coming and how it's unfolded yet now.
No.
Yeah, but now this has become part of your special gifts and talents and abilities that you're able to really help people in amazing ways and help them connect. And I know some of the ways that you help people connect has led to the book series that we're going to be talking about here in just a moment. But what I'd like to do is we're getting ready to go to our first commercial break. And as we do that, listeners, now that you know her official bio, her heart, some of her background and journey, I want you to think about, are there some things you're curious about, some things that if you had an opportunity to talk with Lois, you would like to know, both on her her journey, the work that she's doing currently today, as well as we share more and more about her special book series and what it's like to become a best-selling author, what that journey was like. Write down some of those questions. So use these next 2 minutes to go deep, sink into what it is that you're curious about, what you'd like to know more of, and we'll look forward to talking to you in just 2 minutes.
Become our friend on Facebook. Post your thoughts about our shows and network on our timeline. Visit facebook.com/Voice America.
Voice America programs are now available on your favorite connected device, including Amazon, Alexa, and Google Home. Through streams with Apple Podcasts, TuneIn, and iHeartRadio, listening to your favorite show is as easy as saying the show name followed by the word podcast.
Hey, Alexa, play Finding Your Frequency podcast.
If that doesn't work, try adding on TuneIn or on iHeartRadio or on Apple Podcasts.
The Internet's #1 talk station. #1 talk station. VoiceAmerica.com.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope you enjoyed the opportunity to create those questions, really see what are you curious about? What do you want to know more about? Either Lois's journey or as she shares a little bit more of what's led to the books, because we had that cliffhanger ... at the end of our last segment. She's going to share a little bit of what led to bringing her first book forward in this series, and she's going to share what the journey has been like. So with that, I'm going to hand the floor over to you, Lois, and I'd like to ask why the Chronicles of Hope? How did this come about, and what are the Chronicles of Hope?
Sure. So here I am, a hypnotist, a spiritual-based hypnotist, and I have this crazy Einstein-looking guy come in, and this scientific-minded engineer who was having difficulty sleeping. And so he goes into trance. Now, as I said, if you wanted to talk with your loved ones or angels or Jesus or Kuan Yin, you have that conversation. I'm the guide. That's my role. I'm grounded. I'm scribing for you. You have your conversation and you come out of trance and you remember everything. Well, that was not the case with Gary. He goes into trance to, again, my mission is to help him to sleep better. That's a normal thing to do with hypnosis. He goes into trance, opens his eyes, looks me square in the face and says, "We need your help to save humanity. Humanity may not have much time left. They are facing the next great apocalypse. We need your help now." 6 pages of notes later, he comes out of trance and does not remember a single thing. And I'm thinking, holy flip, what was that? That was different, and I had no idea what to do with this. So he comes back for the next session, and I had the presence of mind to turn on a little recording app on my phone in case whoever these guys are come back again. And sure enough, they did. So I ended up over a 2-year period recording 20-something sessions of these amazing ones, giving me insight to share with humanity. Now, I love what I do, but I'm a private person and I'm nobody famous. How am I supposed to get this message to humanity? It was my biggest question. Who am I? And
I want to stop you right there, Lois, just for a moment. Because listeners, how many of you have thought that? Mm-hmm. When you're given a mission, when you're given a calling, who am I? I know I have. I know I've thought that. I've wrestled with that on the journey, and then finally leaning in, bringing it forward. And I just want you to hear that. And if you've ever thought it, you're not alone, but there's a reason you've been given the mission and the calling. And so with that, I just want to hand the floor back. So continue.
Continue. So, 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 continue. So And Rebecca, you are so right. That's exactly what they said. You are not alone. We've asked you to do this, but you're just the spokesperson. Let us speak through you. And please get this message out, because there are so many people, there are many, many people on this earth that are doing good things, that are positive, that are wonderful. But the voices of the negative are so loud that they are overshadowing the good. And you must shine the light on the good. You must bring positive energy to this planet before it's too late. And I said, well, how do I do that? And they said, tell them what they want to know, then teach them what they need to know. So I started thinking, what would humanity want to know? And I thought, well, they want to know how the pyramids were built, and how did life come to be on Earth, and about the 5 great extinctions. And so I would ask, and they would give details of all of this very freely. They would never willingly volunteer information. I had to ask. That's a powerful lesson. Hold on to that, because we have these amazing beings with us, these God beings, these saints, angels, whatever your belief system is, you have them around you, but they cannot interfere with your free will. You must learn to ask, and then learn to quiet your mind and train yourself to listen, to feel, to hear, to watch the signs around you for their answers, because their goal is to help us succeed. So I just started scribing what they would tell me, and kept asking questions and would scribe, and I started recording the sessions. And it took me a couple of years, like I said, to get all of the information. And then last year in 2019, I published the first book, and the first book is from what are called the Unquietus. They are 8 and they are 1. They're the highest level vibrational beings of the universe. So they're kind of like historians. They're not here with us on a day-to-day basis, but they hold the history of all of the universe. So they gave us information, and this book was that history. And one of the big messages they gave is you must lift your energy. There's too much negativity in the world. You have to shift to positive. You must raise your vibrational rate. So in that book, they gave us exactly how to do that.
Beautiful. And that book is called, this is a series, everybody. I want everyone to know that this is a multi-book series. So the first book was released in 2019, and that one again was called, if you could give us the title again.
It's Chronicles of Hope, the Unquietus. Again, 8. There are 8 and they are 1, and that's what they call themselves, the Ancient One.
Beautiful. And question, so what was it like to become an author? So when you were given this transformational information, you brought it forward in book 1. What was that experience like? So claiming it, standing in that place as the spokesperson and bringing it forward.
It was scary, in a word, because here I am bringing forward spiritual-based information from these ancient ones that are questioning. They're causing us to question what we believe reality is. So I am having people rethink what we have been programmed all of our lives. And that does not necessarily sit well with some people. And I had to kind of go through a period of time myself to get comfortable with the information in order to be comfortable enough to share it with others. So I ended up developing a team of people that I shared information with, and they would come back to me and say, could you please explain this? I don't understand this. So the book evolved into into the sessions I kept as authentic as possible. And then I would add an explanation to it that helped people, because I deal with trance states and these types of beings often, but other people don't. So there's a reflection piece where I added my information to help explain it to those who want the explanation. So putting the book out there, I was surprised that many people were very receptive. And that's what they said. There are many people who are looking for this, that need this work. Do not concern yourself with those who are going to be negative about it. There will be those. But what you need to do is get the message of hope to humanity. And those that need it, crave it, want it, will find it.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. And our listeners today, those of you who have a mission that you've been given, that you have a calling on your heart, I just want you to really hear what she shared about this, that your mission, your focus is on what you're called to bring forward and reaching the people you're called to reach, and not being as concerned about those who are not the people you're called to reach or try to reach. You still bring it forward. And I know this led to book 2, and on that one, you decided to do a best-selling campaign and to launch and release that, and it ended up becoming a #1 international bestseller in multiple 5 countries, 27 categories, and #1 in 7 of them. So a couple of questions on that. One, why did you decide to do a best-selling campaign on that? And then what was that like? Were there surprises? Was there stretching in that? I'd love to have us share that with our listeners.
Absolutely. Well,
and what book 2 is
that I did that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I'm sure. So with book 1, I went the traditional way and printed, over 1,000 copies, and most of them are still sitting in a warehouse. And I sold as many as I could. And but I knew that I had to get the word out there in a big way. And I established a website, a Facebook group, a YouTube channel. I did as best as I could to get the message out there. However, it just did not seem to be taking off the way that I had hoped. And I was led to meet Rebecca, who gave me the way to help get the message out in a bigger way. So with book 2, which is called Chronicles of Hope, the Collective, which are the energies of light beings that are more closely connected with Earth. They could tell us more on a day-to-day basis about what is happening on our world. So that is what's contained in this book. And I knew that this book was even more poignant. The first one was kind of a history book. This one has the messages as to what we need to do today with all of this destruction that's going on, all the chaos. They gave us the answers, and I needed to get it out there across the globe. So Rebecca helped me through her campaign to get this message out there. And she has, I honor and respect, and I'm so grateful for Rebecca and her strategic methods of getting this information out there, and she's the one that I give all the credit for getting this out there in a big way across the world. And I am so blessed that the seed has been planted. And it was, if you're wanting to do this, my biggest recommendation is, I was an Army brat, so I was raised with military discipline. And I would suggest that you follow what Rebecca says and do it. Because she would say, you need to do this, 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 and this, and she has it all, she and her team have it all outlined, and I just followed what she recommended. And I have been blown away by the receptivity, by the results, and just it is so different than the way that I published the first book. So I want people to know, reach out to Rebecca, because getting the book out there in a big way, it was not so much about the book, it's about the message. I know I'm on a mission to get people to be catalysts for positive change, to change individually, because as we change individually and maintain our positive energy in these crazy times, we will collectively make a difference. And that is why I was so intent on getting this out there. And that's what she did. And it was a bit of work. However, the results were amazing.
Well, Lois, thank you for sharing. It was an honor and a privilege to work with you and your people, and our team we were thrilled to come alongside you, and it's an honor. And I want all the listeners to know it's a combined effort. And Lois and her team and her following were so committed to helping all of us. And we were leaning into to help reach the world with this transformational message. And just a complete honor to bring it forward. I celebrate your success, all that you're doing in building. And I'm glad it was such a powerful experience for you and the message that you are called to bring forward in the book. And in all of that, was there something that you discovered or stretched? Or, I mean, what was it like to go from author one day to #1 international best-selling author a couple of days later? What was that like? And to own that, were there surprises in that? Was it easy to do? Was it surreal? What was that experience like for you?
I think the word would be surreal. Because after all of the momentum, and there was so much energy that was put into it, afterwards, and we achieved this, I just wanted to go into hiding because I couldn't believe it. I was so shocked and so surprised and so delighted and so grateful that the message had been seeded out there, that I just needed to regroup. And now working on the softcover book is now available, and working on in this day and age of COVID where we can't get out there and do actual book signings, I've arranged on my website to provide author signed copies. So
nice.
So I have a virtual book signing.
I love it. Yes.
Just getting this out there. Go ahead.
No, I love it. I'm smiling from ear to ear, so I love that you're doing that. And it is available for us to lean in. And even with all that we're facing with the pandemic, that people can still get an author copy. I mean, that's really special and is harder and harder to come by with what we're facing globally. So I love that you are making that available and have so many different ways that people can connect with you. Now, we are getting ready to go to our next commercial break. And as we do that, listeners, I just want you to take in all of what Lois has shared with you from her heart, from her journey, from her experience. And when we come back, we're going to share ways you can go deeper with Lois, how you can plug in and connect with her, as well as some exciting things that she has in the works. So we'll look forward to talking to you in just 2 minutes.
Follow us on Twitter at VoiceAmericaTRN. Get the lowdown on guests, new shows, and your favorites. That's VoiceAmericaTRN.
If you think you've seen online TV before, let us surprise you.
VoiceAmerica.tv is online now.
The leader in live internet talk radio has done it again. Multiple channels, a state-of-the-art viewing experience, live and on-demand programs streaming 24 hours a day. It's exactly what you want, when you want it.
VoiceAmerica.tv.
From health and wellness to business, sports, and everything in between. Discover our new world. Visit VoiceAmerica.tv now and experience the future of online television.
VoiceAmerica.tv.
Streaming live. The leader in internet talk radio. VoiceAmerica.com.
Welcome back, everyone. I hope you enjoyed those 2 minutes, that opportunity to look at your questions, see what else you're wanting to know more about. And I wanted to make sure we gave Lois an opportunity to let you know some of the things she has that are going on today and ways that you can connect in and plug in with her. She has so much that work that she brings to the world that she is serving in so many ways. We wanted to just give you a little bit of a snapshot of some of those ways, as well as the different formats that you can get her amazing work in, and then some things you can look forward to. So with that, I'm going to hand the floor over to you, Lois. Can you share a little bit of some of the things that are going on right now, the different ways and formats they can connect into, and all the different ways they can really get involved with you and the work that you're doing?
Absolutely. One of the things that people asked for with the first book is, could you please create an audio book? So we did, and that turned out to be fabulous because the people who have listened to the audiobook say it's like we're eavesdropping on the sessions. The gentleman that did the recording with me was fabulous. So book 1, Beyond Quietus, is on audio, ebook, and softcover. And I'm getting ready to start the audiobook for book 2, The Collective, and that's going to be interesting because we've got some feminine voices in there. We've got the goddess of the dawn, Aurora, and we've got Gaia. So there's several different voices, and he is a puppeteer. He's fabulous. So stay tuned for that. What I did, because there were so many people wanting to surround themselves with continued positive energy, we created an Inspiring Hope community. So you can find it by chroniclesofhope.net community, and you can sign in. We meet now 4 times a month on the 2nd and 4th Thursday at both 1 o'clock Eastern Time and 7 o'clock Eastern Time. So this is a group of people who are just wanting to stay positively connected, to keep ourselves uplifted in spite of everything that's going on around us. So we started a positive energy group that you're welcome to join. I'm asking for a simple donation of $10 a month, and just so that you're part of it. I also have an Inspiring Hope radio show every Sunday morning. I feature a different inspiring person, like I had Rebecca on recently, and that was based on the message from Jesus that said there are more good people out there. Shine the light on the good. So I started an Inspiring Hope radio show, and you can find all of them free at my YouTube channel, and that's you can find it at bit.ly/Lois Hermann YouTube. All of the radio shows are recorded there. There are also readings from the books. I have dozens and dozens of free downloads for you to listen to uplift your energy in this time of negativity. You can go there and to other places to find positive, inspiring, uplifting energy that you can shift yourself. So chroniclesofhope.net has just about everything that you'd need. And I also have my loisherman.com website also that connects. The two of them do connect.
Perfect. Thank you for sharing. And listeners, this just gives you a taste of what she's bringing to the world and opening up and wanting to make available. So I know you can get those author copies, reaching out of her print books, reaching out to her. She's making those available. The audio for book 2, The Collective's in the works. The audiobook for the first one has been completed. So those are just valuable ways for you to immerse yourself in this information and really bring it into your daily life to support you. And we are getting ready to, we're getting close to the close of the show, but I wanted to take just a minute if you can share some things they can be looking forward to that are coming.
So continuing to get the messages out there, and once this book and once the audiobook is underway, my next effort will be on book 3, The Archangels. So that's coming next year. Stay tuned.
Beautiful. So great way to stay tuned. I always encourage everybody, when there's someone that you resonate with that draws you in, it's great to get on their list, because then you're able to stay in touch with them. You're able to connect on a deeper level and follow some of the things they're doing in social media as well as on an ongoing basis. And when you're on the list, it's an exclusive list because you get to be you get to know things first. As they're coming out. So I just encourage you, as you're feeling that pull, that call, I want to be in touch with that. I want to know when the audiobook comes out. I want to know more about the community. I want to know when book 3 is coming out. That's a great way to do it. So I encourage you, connect with Lois. She is exactly as you're experiencing her, warm, open, on mission, on purpose, and is really here to empower and support you. So, Lois, thank you so much for taking time to spend with us and pull back the curtain a little bit and share with our listeners today. I so appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me, and thank all of you for listening. And if you need to be inspired, there are so many good people out there doing fabulous things. Reach out to them. Whether it's me, whether it's Rebecca, whether it's another one of her amazing authors, reach out and reach up to the positive, because you need that lifeline with all of the negative that's going on in our world today.
Thank you. Thank you for sharing. And one of the ongoing pieces I'm taking from our conversation today, and listeners, I want to encourage you to take this with you, is choosing to shine a light on the positive, really being mindful of what we're focusing on, what we're paying attention to. And if we are called to bring our book forward, we're called to bring our message forward too. Remember to focus on the positive, focus on the people you're serving, and let the rest just be noise that you tune out. Really keep on purpose. You're absolutely needed in this world. If I can support in any way, please know I'm here. We're here to help encourage and support you on your journey, because each of you are absolutely needed for such a time as this. So be willing to share the gift of who you are and listen to the pull and the call in your heart. When you feel that pulling forward, it's because there's someone who needs your voice, your way, what you're called to bring forward. Honor that, bring it forward, shine your light. I'll look forward to talking to you next time.
Thank you for tuning in to The Author's Journey. Please join Rebecca Hall-Greider for another edition of the Author's Journey podcast every Monday on the Voice America Variety Channel. And until we talk again, use some of the tips and inspiration from today's show to guide you as you lean in to bringing your message forward.